kiddos, here is end of year math homework for page 68 and 72. Let's look at page 68. It says write equivalent fractions, color each picture to match. So the first fraction is 1/2, so we're going to color in 1/2 of the picture. And the second picture is out of 6ths. So I'm wondering, what is equivalent to 1/2? How many 6ths? Think about a quiz. If you had a quiz out of 6 points, what would half be? How many points? Say it out loud. 3 of them, yeah. Or you could say, I'm just going to color in like the same amount of blue stuff, right? 3/6. But I want to add one more thing, because you can multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number, and it will give you an equivalent fraction. So on this particular one, think about how you get from 2 to 6. You triple it, right? And if you triple the bottom, you better triple the top. So go ahead and put that in there, so you remember that you can also find equivalent fractions by doing the same thing to the numerator and the same thing to the denominator. Because multiplying by 3/3 is like multiplying by 1 whole, which is not really changing the number. Number 2, same exact thing. Shade 1/4. And I'm wondering, 1/4 is the same thing as, if you have the same amount of green stuff, it's the same thing as 2/8. But let's go ahead and show that if we double the bottom and we double the top, that's how you can mathematically get from 1/4 to 2/8. So pictures can be very helpful, but you can also just use numbers to figure out an equivalent fraction. Number 3, 1/3. So I'm going to shade in 1/3 of the picture. Right? And 1/3 is the same as 3 out of those 9 triangles. And let's go ahead and put this in, that if we triple the bottom, right, 3 times 3 equals 9, we better triple the top. 1 times 3 equals 3. So 1/3 and 3/9 look different to our eyeballs, but when we look at a picture, they're exactly the same amount. Number 4, 1/3 would be how many 6? So let's shade in, what color I want to use. If I thought about 1/3 of this picture, that would be like this amount. Okay. And 1/3 I can see is the same thing as 2/6. If we double the bottom and double the top, 1/3 is exactly the same thing as 2/6. Number 5, let's shade in 3/5. So 3/5 would be 3 out of the 5 like circles, okay? So 3 sections out of the 5 sections. And that's the same as 2, 4, 6 out of 10, right? Because there's 10 triangles all together. 6 out of the 10 triangles are shaded. And remember, if you double the bottom and double the top, that will show it mathematically. 5 times 2 is 10, and 3 times 2 is 6. So 3/5 is exactly the same as 6/10. Do you know which one a little kid would think was bigger? What's bigger, 3/5 or 6/10? What would they say? 6/10, right? But it's really the exact same amount, right? There's more pieces, but you're shading in more, or the pieces are smaller, but you're shading in more of the pieces. So it all ends up working out. Okay, and the last one. 4/8 equals, let's see, if I shade in 4 out of 8, I can see that that's 1/2 of the picture. I'm really glad they threw this one in, because you can also divide the numerator and denominator by the same thing. 8 divided by 4 equals 2. And if you divide the bottom by 4, you got to divide the top by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Okay? All right, let's look at the next page, page 72. Compare, write greater than, less than, or equal to for each problem. And then in that box, it just reminds you that the symbol that's facing that way is greater than, the other symbol is less than, and then obviously equals is equals. Okay, so 1/4, here's 1/4. And I can see that 1/4, that is not half of the picture, right? 1/4 is less than 1/2. Number 2, 1/6. 1/6, that is not half the picture. 1/6 is also less than 1/2. The third one, 1/8. That is definitely not 1/2, right? That's way less than half the picture. Number 4 would be 6 out of the 10 pieces. Let's go ahead and shade 6 out of the 10. Ooh, that's more than half of the picture. So 6/10 is bigger than half. If you got a 6 out of 10 on a quiz, did you get more than half of them correct? Yeah, 6 out of 10 is more than a half. 5 out of 10 would be exactly a half. All right, number 5. Let's shade 4 out of the 6. And that is more than a half. And the last one, 4 out of the 8. That is exactly a half. I hope you found this homework as easy as I did. Let's review the answers from page 68. Here are the answers to page 72. Okay, kids, see you in class.